Hello, I'm Sam from Sound on Sound magazine. I'm here at the Superbooth show in Berlin, and I'm with Tom from Rodec. How you doing, Tom?
Very well, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Now, I've been mentally going through my list of manufacturers at the show, and I think Rodec are almost certainly the oldest manufacturer exhibiting at Superbooth. And in fact, to the point where I suspect that quite a few of our viewers won't have heard of Rodec. Tell us a little bit about the company history.
Yeah, so Rodec was founded in 1954. So last year, I think we celebrated 50 years of Rodec. I have to do the math for that.
That would be 70. No, more than 50. Man.
Yeah, more than 50. And basically started doing amps, speakers, and started doing crossfaders and mixers from the 70s on. We're very big in the 80s and the 90s with our legendary MX series, MX-18, MX-180, all the way to the late 90s. And then things got a little bit rougher when digital mixing boards came in, and we stopped producing in 2010. And now we're picking back up because we think it's time back for an analog console, but not just a DJ console, but a instrument hybrid DJ console for the new producer or the new DJ that we see all about in the world today. Small bands, DJs that bring a sampler and a drum machine, electronic bands, and we see this as an artist mixer, not as an engineer mixer. So you use this as an instrument to basically tweak your sound and put it together the way you want it.
So the key to that flexibility is that it's a modular mixer.
Yeah, we're at a modular event here where there's a lot of modular synths, but for a mixer, we're all using the same mixer. And so we think as artists are authentic, so should your instrument be authentic. And so we said you have to be able to put it together to fit what you're doing on stage or in the studio. So here in this setup, I have 4 mono channels running the drum machines. I have 2 stereo channels. One is running my record player, another one is running the computer output, and then I have a master channel with some effects and compressors that I have. Because I used to do this myself in the late 90s, gig with these machines, and this is how I like my setup. But if you're just a DJ, you could just run 4 stereo DJ channels. If you just want to track a mix, you could run 8 mono preamps on it, and you put it together. Also the faders as you like it.
And you're using 500 series format for some of these modules, but
Correct.
not all of them.
Yes, so it's a 500 series format because we think we should be compatible. If you want to have another preamp in there, maybe from API or warm audio, you should be able to do that. If you want to run a compressor, a stereo compressor on a master bus, you should be able to do that. And also we make our own modules. And if you're not interested in buying the mixer, you can still buy these and put them in your slot. So we wanted to be compatible. We did expand it a little bit to the mini series, as we call those, and we have a stereo slot of 500 modules where you can slide in multiple mini plugins, if you want analog plugins, in a cassette that also fits in a 500 series. So this can go out, and you can put it in your 500 series, and you'll have a phono preamp sitting in your 500 series also.
So how much flexibility is there in terms of routing?
Routing, so we have virtual buses here, so we have bus 1, bus 2 and master, and you can send it to the virtual bus. For example, I can send channel 1, 2 and 3 to virtual bus 1 and then take it back in on channel 8, 9 and then put an additional compressing effect on those 3 channels. So what we see a lot of in modular synths is all the cables running at the front. So we didn't want that because as a performance mixer, it has to be free of wiring. So we put all the wiring in the back, and then with switches, you can route everything to everything.
And do you also have an auxiliary send architecture?
Yeah. There's 2 aux buses next to the send buses, and by default we will have a digital reverb and a digital delay. Everything else is analog, except those 2. They will sit in here, and they will be by default going to the aux buses. But there's aux sends and returns also on the back to put your own outboard gear into the machine.
Well, that looks very impressive and very comprehensive. How long will it be before we see the Rodec name in
So we still
again,
have a little of work. We're hoping to start releasing the first preamp and the designs of our EQ in the small format box around Christmas, and then hopefully spring next year The first mixers will be sold here at Superbooth, but then not the prototypes, but the real stuff. We like to take things slowly. We think quality is important. We don't want to let down the people that supported Rodec for 50 years. So we're not in here for a quick buck. We're here to do this properly. So give us another year to get this done, and we'll hopefully see you back next year.
Well, after 70 years, what's one more year?
There you go.
Thanks ever so much, Tom.
Well,
it's been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.